Dear children, I'm here to help you with few sample questions. Okay. The major fear among you is that what if I don't understand the question, or are the points which I write is enough to score? So these are the common questions or major concerns of the kids. Children, believe in yourself. You are familiar with your textbook. No question will be coming out of the textbook. Fine. For sure, no questions will be coming out of the textbook. Now, let's check few questions here and discuss how to answer it. Let's see to it. Fine. As I'm focusing only on biology, I'll be discussing only the biology questions from this sample paper. Fine. So, the first question. The given figure represents a single nephron from a mammalian kidney. Identify the labeled parts, match them with the options 1 to 4 and select the correct answer. So when such question comes, when quite a lot of options comes, you will get confused. No, peacefully read all the options. So this is a diagram which we have in our textbook. Okay, so I just put it here for you to compare it. Now let's see the site of ultrafiltration. So remember which is the site of ultrafiltration? You remember which is the site of ultrafiltration? Yes. This Bowman's capsule, this region is the site of ultrafiltration or initial filtration. So, this shall be the first part, okay? Patiently solve the questions like this. Collect the urine and make it more concentrated. So, collecting the urine. Where do you know the urine gets collected? The collecting duct, of course, the collecting duct. So, it is E. So let us check the options which we are getting as A and E. Right. This one, isn't it? So let's check the remaining options. The main site of reabsorption of glucose and amino acids. We know tubular reabsorption, right? That's what we learn. Selective reabsorption at the tubular region. So this is the tubular region. This is labeled as C here. See, it matches with this. And the last one, largely responsible for the maintenance of pH. Actually, that doesn't come in your book, but just see the first three options matches here. Okay, so the answer is option B, A, E, C and D. Got it. Now, let's move on to the next question. This one. Select the correct statement regarding P, Q, R, S. So let's see what is P, Q, R and S. Let's compare the diagram. So R are the lung capillaries. Fine. P, it's a pulmonary artery. Now Q they haven't marked it rightly, but it's supposed to be this one, pulmonary vein. And S here, body capillaries. Fine. Okay, now let's see the options. Q represents pulmonary artery. Is this pulmonary artery? No, it's pulmonary vein. So no, not the option A. P represents pulmonary vein. No, it's pulmonary artery. So that's not the option. Exchange of gases takes place in R. Yeah, of course, exchange of gases takes place in R because they are lung capillaries. And oxygenated blood is carried back through aorta. So here, carried back through aorta, what they mean is carried back to the body parts through aorta. Yes, it is carried back to the body parts through aorta. That's almost right. Now let's check the option D too. Exchange of gases and substances takes place in S. Yeah, there too the exchange of gases and substances take place. And deoxygenated blood is carried back to the lungs through vena cava. No, that's not happening there. It is carried back to the lungs, but it is not through vena cava. It is carried back to the heart through vena cava, and from heart it is carried back to the lungs, right? So here the option C is supposed to be closely correct. Now coming to the next question. 2 pea plants, one with round green seeds. So this is round green. So the parental colors are round green and wrinkled yellow. Fine. Okay. Now they produce F1 progeny. They have again round yellow. You just see the combination, round yellow. So this is very much similar to the dihybrid cross which you have solved, or which is given in the textbook. So if this is the combination, if this is the F1 progeny, then by selfing the F1 progeny we get like this, and we get 4 progenies. What are the 4 progenies we usually get? A round yellow, round green, wrinkled yellow and wrinkled green. Wrinkled green, isn't it? This is the combination we usually get in the 9:3:3:1 ratio, remember? Fine. Here the question they have asked is, when F1 plants are selfed, F1 progeny will have new combination of characters other than the parental characters. Choose the new combination. So we have to check the parental characters here. What is the parental character given? Round green and wrinkled yellow. So round green, wrinkled yellow are parental characters. So what are the new combinations? Round yellow and wrinkled green. Round yellow and wrinkled green. So option 1 and 4. This is the right one. Got it? Next question. Which of the following statements are true about endocrine glands? So endocrine glands we learn here, the pituitary, starting from pituitary. You remember all those glands which we learn in control and coordination? Okay. So what are these statements, or what are the features of those endocrine glands? Endocrine glands do not have duct. They are ductless glands. Yeah, that's true. They don't have duct. They release their hormone into a duct. No, it's wrong, because they are ductless. They produce chemical messengers called hormones. Yeah, it is right. They produce the chemical messengers called hormones. It's right. They release hormones directly into the bloodstream. They release hormones directly into the bloodstream. Just minimize it. Yeah. They release their hormones directly into the bloodstream. Yeah, it's right. So this statement is also correct. So only statement 2 is wrong. So in that case, say option A is again correct. 1, 3 and 4 statements are true about endocrine glands. Okay. Now, the image shows a bud developing on a hydra. How does the bud develop in hydra? You can see a parent hydra, a bud is coming out, it grows into a new hydra and it detaches from the parent and grows as a new individual. This is the budding in hydra. Let's see the options. Bud develops due to repetitive cell division at a specific state. Bud develops due to the separation of body parts of hydra. Bud develops due to attachment of another hydra at a specific site. Bud develops due to change in the environmental conditions. So let's see, the same statement is given in your textbook. So that's why I have taken the clip of the textbook. Let's see here. You can see that due to repeated cell division at one specific site. So it matches with the first statement A. Bud develops due to repetitive cell division at a specific site. So that's the right answer. Got it? Coming to the next question. Assertion reasoning. In human beings, the sex of the individual is largely genetically determined. Yes, in human beings, the sex is genetically determined because the chromosomes, XY chromosomes, determine if the individual is male or female. Let's check the reason. So, assertion is correct. Let's check the reason. In snails, sex is not genetically determined. Yeah, it's true. In snails, sex is not genetically determined because they could change their sex. They could act as male or female. So, reason is also correct. But you cannot relate the assertion and reasoning. So, whenever you get an assertion reasoning type, a tip I could give you is, first you check the assertion part, find if it is true or false. check the reason part, find if it is true or false, and then try to relate both by adding a conjunction because. See, because it's a reason, right? So, you try the sentence like this. In human beings, the sex of the individual is largely genetically determined because in snails, sex is not genetically determined. Does it make sense? No. So that conjunction doesn't work there. If the conjunction doesn't work, then it means it is not the correct explanation. A is true, R is true, but it's not the correct explanation. R is not the correct explanation of assertion A. So option B. Got it? Now let's check the next one. Assertion. Find if assertion and reason are true. Amoeba always produces 2 daughter amoebae while Plasmodium divides into many daughter cells. Yes, amoeba undergo binary fission and Plasmodium undergo multiple fission. We know that fact. Now let's read the reason. Wow, look at the reason. Amoeba undergoes binary fission and Plasmodium undergoes multiple fission. Now you know that the reason is correct, and it is obvious that assertion is explained by the reason. See, add a conjunction there. Amoeba always produces 2 daughter amoebae while Plasmodium divides into many daughter cells because amoeba undergoes binary fission while Plasmodium undergoes multiple fission. It suits, right? So, option A, both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion A. I hope you got it. Now coming to question number 22. Give reasons. Placenta is extremely essential for fetal development. Yes, children, while we are discussing the important questions or possible questions in the textbook, we emphasize that it is very important. Let's see which part do we need to write. I hope you can see. Yeah, this part. See, placenta, structure and function I have mentioned here. Placenta, the embryo gets nutrition from the mother's blood. So, placenta is extremely essential for fetal development. Yes, because it gets the food, nutrition from the mother's blood with the help of placenta. You can see the function. This provides a large surface area for glucose and oxygen to pass from mother into the embryo. The developing embryo will also generate waste substances which can be removed by transferring them into mother's blood through placenta. Got it? So, now the next part of that. The uterine lining becomes thick and spongy after fertilization. Yes, that part is also there in the same page. Just above the sentence, just above the placenta, there also we have marked preparation of uterus during fertilization. You can see embryo is implanted in the lining of the uterus where they continue to grow and develop. So, for preparing the embryo to get implanted, uterus lining becomes thick and spongy after fertilization. They have mentioned here, uterus prepares itself every month to receive and nurture the growing embryo. That's why it becomes thick. You got it? The lining thickens and is richly supplied with blood vessels to nourish the growing embryo. So, the answer is over there. Next question. Coulards, disposable cups made of clay, and disposable paper cups. Both are used as alternative for disposable paper cups. Which of these two can be considered as a better alternative to plastic cups? Why? So, this part also we have discussed from our environment, coulards and disposable paper cups. We were using coulards for quite a time, but we replaced it with paper cups. Why did we do that? Keeping in mind that by making coulards, we were picking up, or we were destroying or deteriorating a great extent of fertile topsoil. We use soil or clay to make the coulards, so by that we were using quite a lot of fertile topsoil we were using. So that's why they switched totally to paper cups. Okay, now next question. Name the reproductive and non-reproductive part of bread mold. I hope you remember, children remember, while we were discussing the spore formation in rhizopus. We said about the reproductive and non-reproductive part, right? Hyphae of the bread mold is the non-reproductive part, whereas the sporangia is the reproductive part. It's also given in your textbook. See, find all the questions in your textbook. That's what I said. If you are familiar with your textbook, no worries. List any two advantages of vegetative propagation. So what are the advantages of vegetative propagation? That also we have discussed. The advantages of vegetative propagation, the advantages of vegetative reproduction here. In the vegetative reproduction part, this last few lines. Plants raised by vegetative propagation can bear flowers and fruits earlier than those. Then they have the plants which have lost the capacity to produce seeds can undergo this method. Also, all the plants produced are genetically similar enough to the parent plant to have all its characteristics. So, all the special characteristics of the parents are resumed or restored. Okay, so these are the advantages of vegetative propagation. They have asked for only 2 advantages. I advise you to write all the 3 advantages. Okay, children. So now let's move on to the next. Yeah, how do auxins promote the growth of a tendril around a support? Do you children remember while discussing the chemical coordination, control and coordination, and that chemical coordination part, we said that, so this part is from the auxins. See, like, look here, when light comes from one side of a plant, auxin diffuses to the shady part of the root. This concentration of auxin stimulates the cells to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is away from the light. So, I emphasized saying that this is how auxin help a plant to bend towards light. Similarly, auxin helps all parts of a growing tip to bend towards the stimulus. Here they have asked the stimulus given here is a growth of a tendril around a support. So only when the tendril touches a support, it will be start growing, right? So the touch is the stimulus here. So you remember this is the support. You imagine this is the support and a tendril growing towards it. So once when the tendril touches the support, when light is coming from one side of the plant, here the stimulus is light and here the stimulus which we are talking about is a touch. Auxin diffuses. So when the tendril, growing tip of the tendril touches the support, auxins diffuses towards the other side of the shoot. Now this concentration of auxin stimulates the cell to grow longer, so that the area, the other side, it will be growing longer so that it makes a bend. It creates a bend there, so that helps the tendril to wind around the support. So that's how you have to write. Here the role of auxin and the stimulus, that's what you have to keep in mind. Here 2 stimuli they have given, one is light and the other one is touch. Only 2 questions, only these are the 2 possible questions that can be asked. Either shade of light, either light as a stimulus or the touch as a stimulus. Clear? So you have to just reframe the sentence and write. And now coming to the next one, food chain, environment chapter. In the following food chain, only 2 joules of energy was available to the peacock. How much energy would have been present in the grass, right? So it is coming in the reverse order. So you know it is 10% law, based on the 10% law. So peacock 2 joules. I said you that when you go in the reverse order, the peacock has 2 joules. So I said you have to multiply with 10. So snake will be having 20 joules, frog will be having 200 joules, grasshopper 2000 joules, and grass will be having 20,000 joules. So this is a simple way to keep in mind. You have to multiply 10 towards each trophic level. Okay, if the question is in the reverse order, for example, the question is given like grasshopper has 2000 joules, what will be the energy available at the level of peacock? So what you have to do, you have to divide it by 100. The thing is, the basic concept is 10% law. That is, when energy passes from one trophic level to the other, 10% of energy is passed on. For example, 20,000 is the energy available in plant, right? So 10% of it is passing to the next generation. That's how we have to calculate. So So that's the formula. So what is the 10% of it? And it becomes 2000. So 2000. And what is the 10% of 2000? 200. 10% of 200, 20. 10% of 20 is 2 joules. Clear? When we go in the reverse, we have to do it like this. That is 2 into 100 by 10. So it is 20. And 20 into 100 by 10. 200 into 100 by 10. So if you find this part confusing, just keep in mind that when you move from grass to peacock, you have to divide it by 10. And when you move from peacock to grass, you have to multiply 10. You got it? So the answer is 20,000 joules. And it's nothing but 10% law. And now coming to the next question, question number 32. Nervous and hormonal systems together perform the function of control and coordination in human beings. Justify the statement with the help of an example. So it's a bit of general type question. So nervous system and hormonal system. How is nervous system helping in the control of all our activities? So impulse is transferred from sensory organs to the nervous system, and from there it is interpreted and it is brought back to the effector organ, and that's how the control is done, right? So in nervous system, the control or the impulses are passed through the neurons in the form of electrical and chemical impulses. It will be passed down to the central nervous system, and the action is quick. Whereas in hormonal systems, how it is happening? Hormonal system, it is happening by the secretion of chemical substances or chemical messengers. Now the question is how they together perform the function of control and coordination. So nervous system will be fast. The control, the activities or the stimulus transferred through the nervous system will be fast, whereas fast, but it cannot reach all the cells. So when it comes to each cellular level, the hormonal system will be acting, and the action carried out by the hormonal system is quite slower when compared to the nervous system, but it lasts for long. It has the long-term effect. Fine. So this both together controls and coordinates the body, and that's how our body functions. Is that clear? Now here they've asked you to justify with the help of an example. See, we know that while we are studying the hormonal system, the first part is hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a region in our central nervous system. So hypothalamus controls the secretions of all the hormones. So only when the hypothalamus starts secreting, the other glands will start secreting or will carry out its function. So there itself the function or the role of nervous system acts. So only if the nervous system functions, the other endocrine glands will start functioning. And we know about the feedback mechanism. You can cite feedback mechanism as an example, like once when the blood sugar level rises up, the feedback goes to the pancreas asking them to secrete insulin, right? So it makes the insulin, or it makes the gland to release insulin. So what makes it to release insulin? It is by the nerve impulses. Okay, so neuron impulses make the glands to act, and those glands secretes hormones. The hormones will reach the region where these neurons cannot reach. So this both work hand to hand. So this both together performs a function of control and coordination. The control is done by the neurons and the coordination is done by the hormonal system. Okay. Now, list in tabular form 3 distinguishing features between cerebrum and cerebellum. So let's see the distinguishing features between cerebrum and cerebellum. Can you just tell few? Cerebrum and cerebellum, yeah, it is a part of forebrain. It's a part of hindbrain. Then it is actually larger in size. It's the largest part of the brain and comparatively smaller. And you can say that cerebrum has 2 hemispheres, cerebellum do not have that. Okay, if you want, you can write those. And then the major thing is, you have to write the functions of cerebrum. So what is the function of cerebrum? It controls all the sensory receptions. The receptor organs or the sensations are controlled by it. Then thinking, memory, intelligence, all those part, and all the Reasoning part, yeah, reasoning, everything is controlled by it. Then all the voluntary movements. And here cerebellum controls the precision of the involuntary movements, like riding a bicycle, holding a pencil, walking right. And then posture and equilibrium is also controlled by the cerebellum. So they have asked you to write in a column. Always I advise you to write the differentiation in column, children. Always write in column, and any answers write as points, not as paragraph. Focus or highlight the important points or the key points. Clear? Now coming to the next question. Yeah, draw the diagram of human excretory system and label on it the following parts. So you have to draw only that two kidneys, ureters coming out of it, urinary bladder, and urethra. Only that part you have to mention here. Clear? So kidney, ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. That will do. You need not go for the arteries or veins. Then write one main function of each labeled part. So this is urine formation, transferring urine to the urinary bladder, stores urine temporarily, releases urine out. Okay. So kidney. So this part is kidney. Urine formation, ureter transports urine from kidney to urinary bladder. Urinary bladder stores urine temporarily, and urethra, it releases urine out. Clear? Okay, now draw a schematic representation of transport and exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide transportation of blood in human beings. Yeah. So there you have to label lung capillaries, pulmonary artery to lungs, aorta to body, and pulmonary veins from lungs. Children, remember which is the diagram? Yeah, this is the diagram. This is a schematic representation. And then the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Where it is happening? Exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide during the transpiration of blood. Yeah, it is here in the lung capillaries as well as in the body capillaries. And then you have to mark the 4 major blood vessels. What is the advantage of separate channels in mammals and birds for oxygenated and deoxygenated blood? Do you remember, children? In the same page towards the side, towards your right hand side, in the same page where you have this diagram, it is mentioned, and we have already emphasized it. That's quite important. It is to make sure the efficient supply of oxygen. That is the point. Efficient supply of oxygen is essential to maintain or to regulate their body temperature. So this both activities are must in warm-blooded animals like mammals and birds. So in their body, the channels must be separate. Mixing up of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood must be controlled. Clear? Now coming to this one, the female reproductive system. So this is quite often asked question, children. Many times they have repeated this question. In one or the other form they will be asking. They may either give you the diagram and ask, or they may ask you to diagram and label, or they will ask you to identify the parts, or any kind of questions can be asked. In short, it is very important. So this female reproductive system includes fallopian tube. So let's mark the area. So A, what is A? Yeah, fallopian tube. And B, ovary. C, uterus or uterine wall. And D is actually vagina. Okay, now let's see. Fallopian tube, ovaries, vagina. These organs are involved in the production of and transportation of gametes and in the production of sex hormones. The female reproductive system also facilitates the fertilization of ova by sperm and supports the development of offspring during pregnancy and infancy. See, fertilization of ova by sperm happens at or in the site of fallopian tube, and supporting the development of fetus that is carried out in the uterus. Okay. And release of ova by ovary, and through vagina the baby will be coming out. We call vagina as the birth canal. through which the baby comes out. Now let's see the question. In which part fertilization takes place? Where does the fertilization takes place? Yes, fallopian tube, part A. Oh, fallopian tube. You have to mention part A, fallopian tube. Then where does the fetus develop? Part C, uterus. Which structure in human female are equivalent to following structures? So testis and vas deferens are the structures in male. So which structures in female can be compared to this? Testis. Which structure can be compared to testis? Ovary. Yeah, ovaries. And vas deferens is a tube in male. So what is a tube over here? Fallopian tube, of course. Now, in each case, say in what respect the structures are equivalent. Okay, so testis is a reproductive organ which produces the male gametes in male. Similarly, ovary is a female reproductive organ which produces the female gamete, ovum. Vas deferens is a tube which carries a sperm. Here the fallopian tube is a tube which carries the ovum. Simple. Right. Now, write the number of immature eggs present in the ovaries of a newly born baby girl. Mention what happens to these immature eggs when the girls attain puberty. See, this part usually we consider it as non-important, but there are cases where they ask this. Okay, so let's see. See this page where the fertilization comes. I hope you could see this first paragraph. When a girl is born, this is the first paragraph of that page. When the next page to where this diagram is given, where the diagram of female reproductive system is given, the very next page. When a girl is born, the ovaries already contains thousands of immature eggs. Okay, so what number of immature eggs? That's a question, first question. Thousands of immature eggs. Then mention what happened to these immature eggs when the girl attains puberty. The answer to that is the next sentence. On reaching puberty, some of these start maturing. One egg is produced every month by one of the ovaries. So remember, girls, our ovaries produces one egg in each month. Okay, we already have eggs. So it's not production, it releases mature eggs. Okay, so we should not say that egg is produced. Egg is actually released by one of the ovaries. So here they have used the word produce. No issues, you can continue with that, but you must keep in mind that we already have thousands of immature eggs and those eggs gets matured one by one in each month. Clear? Then yeah, we are here towards the end of this question paper. That's all the questions in this question paper. I think you might have got how you have to do it. Any doubts you can mention in the comment, children. Thank you.